Arielle, and I was a serial monogamist. How many people are in relationships tonight? Yeah, it's statistics. You didn't really do anything. Good job. I was a serial monogamist. I was, until college, from the time I was 14 years old, I was in a relationship. And it was not because I was like super cool and really, really mature. It was because I needed somebody next to me, and relationships filled that gap. And so when I started being to that point in the relationship where I was like, I don't really like you anymore, instead of being like, hey, I don't think this works anymore, I would be like, I'm gonna cheat on you with this one, and then this will be broken and I'll be free. So I did that for years. For almost a decade. And you know what's not super healthy emotionally? Doing that. So I decided that it was not super healthy doing that when I was 21. And I found myself in a senior in college, graduating from the University of Pennsylvania, top of my class, super had my shit together, except that I was engaged to a dude that I didn't like because he asked, and I said, alright, sure. And then I graduated, I was about to graduate, and he was like, yeah, so we're engaged, we're gonna move in together right now, like now's the time, you're graduating, like now we're gonna move in together, and I was like, oh, that's the next step of this, huh? And I had this come to Jesus moment. I'm not even religious, but I had this come to Jesus moment where I was like, oh, I don't want to share space with you. So that's probably not healthy, and I've been making really bad decisions for like a decade. And I broke up with him, and I made this vow to myself that I was not going to seriously date anybody. I was gonna like, I was gonna date. I was gonna like see dudes and like have sex because I was in my 20s, man. Like I looked the best I've ever looked in my life. I was gonna give that up. But I broke up with him, and I was like, I'm not gonna make this commitment anymore. Because the thing is, when you're continually in a relationship, it's not even about wanting somebody. It's about wanting somebody to happen to be next to you, and that sucks. Like, it sucks. Yeah. And so I broke up with him, and I was vowing to be single. Here's the thing. Hadn't been single since I was 13 years old. Which, like, everybody take a quick moment and think about who you were when you were 13. That person sucks. So you have to relearn who you are and who you can be in a relationship. So I decided to just be single for a while and date. Here's the thing about dating. It also blows. A lot. And so I found myself going to parties, and I was, seeing dudes just to dance. And the thing about dating is that it's really just serial monogamy, but at the opposite extreme. When you're just trying to date somebody, you don't want that person. You just want a person next to you. The thing about serial dating is you just want a person next to you for tonight, rather than you want a person next to you indefinitely for as many years as it takes until you cheat on them with somebody else. So I was suddenly finding myself at house parties in the prime of my life, where I weighed less than I've ever had in my life, and I looked awesome. And there were all these dudes giving me terrible lines that I knew existed, but I'd never heard. It was just Tinder, but in real life. Like shitty things that dudes would say to you, only they didn't have an app, and so they said it to your face. And so I would go to parties, and they would say like, nice dress, it would look better on my roommate's floor because I came in from Patco and I'm crashing on his couch. And I would be like, I'm wearing jeans, cool line. And, or like, did you fall from heaven because I want to fuck you? And I would be like, I don't know what that means, stop it. And so I would hate this so much. And I went to a party one night, and I was so done with everything. And a guy came up to me and he said, you look like a rare and beautiful Pokemon. Here's the thing. The line worked. The line worked because I laughed my ass off. Nobody has ever used that line on a human woman before, and he did, and I laughed like crazy. And I met him, and I talked to him, and we went on dates. Have you ever been on a date as an adult to the zoo? Because I have. Because he made me laugh, and we went on dates. The thing about Brian that I met in that shitty house party is that he gave me a terrible line, but he gave me a terrible line that was designed to be terrible because he wanted to make me laugh. He didn't want me, he didn't see me in my jeans and give me a line about a dress. He saw me and he was like, I want to know if that will happen. And he spent time with me. He spent time, what he wanted was to see if we would work. And he wanted to spend that time seeing if we would work. We didn't work. He was a dude who would use a Pokemon line. I wouldn't, but I would laugh at that. And so we spent a couple months dating. But I credit that time dating and like taking my time and figuring out what I wanted to figuring out what I wanted. And I am married now, and I did make that commitment, and I'm really glad none of you laughed. I was really prepared for that. I'm married, but like he needed health insurance, so like it's not an accomplishment. But it was a mind-blowing thing as a woman, as an adult, to kind of figure out that you could just want to figure out what you wanted and to spend your time making that happen. So I credit the Pokemon guy with that.